Good evening. In previous session, we have seen some of the concepts of list. So today we are going to see remaining concepts of list. So in yesterday's concept, we have seen how to compare the list objects, and we have seen about the operators that can be applied on the list, and some methods like that is the concepts like cloning and aliasing we have seen, and few methods also we have seen regarding this list. So in today's session, we are going to see about some more concepts of the list. Okay, so let us see some concepts of list here. Okay, now we are going to see about membership operators related to our lists. What are membership operators? Membership operators are in and not in. Membership operators, so there are two membership operators, one is in and another one is not in. So if you are going to consider in and not in is going to tell whether the particular element is present in that list or not. In the same way, not in is going to tell us whether the whether the element is present in the list or not. For example, I am going to take one list here, L equal to some 10, 20, 30 and 40, four elements I am going to take here. Now I want to check whether the a specified element, for example 20 I am going to take. I want to check whether the 20 is present in L or not. If I am going to write 20 in L, is 20 is present in L? Yes, it is present in L. So we are going to get what? It is a true. In the same way, if I am going to ask print of 50 in L, is 50 is present in L? No. So it is going to give you false. Now let us see about not in. I am asking that 50 is not in L. Yes, 50 is not in L. So we are going to get answer as what? True. Next, last one, let us consider one more element, 10. 10 not in L. Is 10 is not in L? No, it is there. That means the statement is what? False. So two operators are there. Membership operators are two. One is in and another one is not in. So here to check whether the specified element is present in the given list or not, then we have to use the concept of membership operators. Let us take a small example. I'm going to consider a list L equal to, I'm going to take 10, 20, 30 and 40. Now I want to check whether the element 20 is present in list or not. That is L or not. Is 20 is in L or not? Yes, it is there. 20 is present in L. So we are going to get what? True. Now let us take one string here. Let us take one string. I want to check whether it is present in L or not. Is it present in L? No, it is not present. In the same way, if I take 50 in L, 50 is not available in this list. So we are going to get answer as what? False. So if the element is present inside the list, in is going to give true. If the element is not present in the list, we are going to get what? False. Now I am going for not in. 50 not in EL. That means what? Here not in is going to give you true when it is going to give true if the element is not there. See here, if 50 is not there in L, yes, it is true. So we are going to get as true. If I am asking about 10 not in L, is 10 is not in L? No, it is there. So we are going to get what? False. So this is about membership operators that can be applied on your list. Now let us see identity operators. So already we know what are the different type of identity operators we know. So there are two identity operators. One is and is not. These are two operators which are called as identity operators. So what is meant by an identity? Let us see now. So identity. Okay, right. What we are going to see, identity operators. there are two identity operators. One is another one is not. How it is going to, how we are going to apply this one to list? Let us consider here. L1 equal to 10, 20, 30. Okay. Now L2 equal to, I am going to take some other list called as 20, 30 and 40. Now if I want to check whether these two lists are same or not, how can I say these two lists are same or not? So that I can use L1 is L2 or not. Then it is saying what? Is L1 is L2? No, these two are different. So different in the sense, internally for this L1, one memory location is going to be allocated, and in that 10, 20, 30 is going to be placed. For that we are going to have some address. For example, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 6, 9, 3 for example. In the same way, if you are going to create L2, for that some memory location is going to be created. For that we are going to have some address. Okay, right. Now I am checking what L1 is L2. That means I am asking whether the identity that we can consider it as address of L1 is L2 or not. No, these two are different. So if these two are different, we are going to get answer as false. Okay. In the same way, if I ask L1 is not L2, yes, it is correct. L1 is not L2. It is different. Both are different. So here we are going to get answer as true. That means when, if we want to check two different lists, whether those are same or not, then we can use is and is not. So is going to tell you what? When it is going to return true, when I am going to compare two lists and it is having same address, then it is going to return what? True. If we are not going to have two addresses, sorry, if we are not going to have same addresses for L1 and L2, it is going to give you what? False. What about is not? Is not is going to give true when these two are different. When is not is going to give you false when these two are same. Okay, let us see example for this one. So I'm going to consider two different elements, sorry, two different lists. One is 1 comma 5 comma 6 comma 9. Okay, these are the elements that are present in a list. Now L2 equal to, so 5 comma 6 comma 7 comma 8. So two lists I am going to consider. First I want to check whether these two are same or not. So I can apply what? Is and not, sorry, is and is not. Before going to check that, I want to use IDs. ID is nothing but what? Identity. Identity of L1, that means it is going to give me some address. ID of L2, it is going to give the identity of L2. So see, these two are different. Now already by seeing the concept of IDs, I can understand that these two are having different values. So without using this ID, if you want to check whether the given lists are same or not, then I can use what? Is operator. Is and is not operator. So automatically what it is going to give you? Is L1 is L2? No, we are going to get false. In the same way, L1 is not L2. Yes, it is not L2. Both are different. So we are going to get what? True. So now I will consider L1 and L2 with same values. So you can understand clearly here. 10 comma 20 comma 30, three values I am going to take. In L2 also I will take same values. Okay, now see, if I print L1 we are going to get 10, 20, 30, 10, 20 and 30. If I print L2 also we are going to get the same values. Now I want to check is L1 is L2 or not. So see here, we have to understand this concept. So here both are different lists. Internally the memory will be separately created for each and every list if the content is same also. If I am going for a string, then if I take two string values as same, then if I check S1 is S2, then we are going to get answer as what? True. In the case of strings, we are going to have what? We are going to have only one object for S1 and S2. So there how it is going to have means, see, let us consider S1 I have 1 minute. Okay, S1 I am going to have one object. Inside that one I am going to have Shiva. So when you are going to create second object, that is S2, already it will check whether the Shiva is there or not. Yes, Shiva is there. The object contains Shiva already present. So I'm going to do what? S2 is also pointing to same memory location. This is applied. This is applicable only for the strings concept, and also some of the integer concept also, up to 0 to 256 concept. Already we know reusability concept. Only it is applied to 0 to 250 value, 256 values in integer. What about in string? If you are going to take string, if both are same here, then automatically we are going to get what? It is going to point to same. That means here, what is the address location? For example, let us take here. I will show you address location. ID of S1. Okay, what is the ID of S1? For example, 332511168. Okay, so 325. Okay, 1168. So first the S1 is created in this way. Next, second statement is what? S2 equal to Shiva. So it will check whether it is there or not. So already it is there. So it is also pointing to same object. If I ask ID of S1, what is the ID of S1? Same address. If I ask ID of S2, we are going to get the same address. ID of S2. See, same address. Okay. But if you are going to consider the concept of list, if we are going to have the same content also, it is not going to create same object. We are having different objects. So let us see that concept once. Okay, here I am going to create L1, I am going to create L2. Both are having same content. Okay, now first what happens? L1 is going to be created, and in this we are going to have what? Elements 10, 20, 30. And L2 is going to be created. In this I am going to have elements 10, 20, 30. Here the objects are different, so that for this we are having some address. Okay, and for this we are going to have some different address. Okay, right. If I call ID of L1, it is going to give this type of address. If I am going to call ID of L2, we are going to get this address. These two addresses are different, but one concept is, this is what? L1 of 0. This is what? L2 of 0. Now I want to check for L1 of 0 and L2 of 0. See that L1 of 0 is L2 of 0. Now you can observe one concept, that is what? True. Here you may get some confusion. That is, see, whenever we are going to create a list, inside this list we are having what? Integers. Those integers also within the range of, that means within the value 0 to 256 only. That means if I am using same values repeatedly, then the new object for 10, 20, 30 is not going to be created. Then it is going to point to the same object. That means, now listen carefully, this concept should be understand. What happens here? L1, L2, 10, 20, 30. So by default, when the interpreter is going to start, how many objects are going to be by default created for int? 257. That is what? 0 to, let us come, this is 0. Next, this is 1 object. This is 2 object. This is 3 object, and so on. How many objects? 256. By default, it will be created initially only. Now, what I am going to is, L1 is going to point to this one. In which location? 0th location. So that this 0 is going to be pointed with L. Oh, sorry, this is what? 10, 20, 30. So 1 minute, I will take those values. Already what? 10, 20, 30 are present. Okay, while program is starting. Okay, now what happens? 10 is pointing by whom? L1 of 0. Next 20 is pointing by L1 of 1. Next 30 is pointing by L1 of 2. This is the concept when we are going to create this list. Next, what happens? I am creating a list L2. In this also we are having which objects? 10, 20, 30. Is it already present? Yes, it is already present. So if it is already present, it will point to that same values, that is L2 of 0, L2 of 1 and L2 of 2. Okay, now if you are having any doubt, I will show you the addresses of each and every individual element. Let us take the address of this one is some 283248, and here some 234246, here 238638 for example. So now if I ask L1 of 0, it will give you same address. If I ask L2 of 0, it will give the same address, because L1 of 0 and L2 of 0 is pointing to same. Okay, now see, I will ask about L1 of 0. What I want to ask? I want to ask the ID of L1 of 0. See, what is the address? 1387571264, some address. Same I want to ask for L2 of 0. So see, it is going to give the same address, because in L1 of 0 we are having 10, in L2 of 0 we are having 10. So if we are having same element, then it will point to same memory location. This concept is applicable only for what? Integers within the range of 0 to 256 only. Next, it will applicable for any string. If there are same string, then we are going to get what? Same address. So I will take one more example, which contains the numericals 25, 63, 256, comma 289. So four values I am going to consider now. Now L2 equal to, I will take here 68, 58, 63. Okay, 63 I will take, and some 289. Otherwise, let us take 321, 256 and 289. So these are the two lists. So what happens? It is going to have, here we are having some different values, here we are having some different values. But here 25 is there, and here there is no 25. Here 63 is there, and here 63 is there. Here 63 is in which location? First location. That is a index 1. L1 I want to check. Otherwise, directly I will check by using is operator. L1 of 1 is L2 of, I want to check for what? Second index. 0, 1, 2, second index. So I have to write what? Second index. Now what we are going to get answer as true, because these two are having what? Same memory location. Now the concept is, I want to check 256. So same thing I will take here. What is the index here? 0, 1, 2. Here the index is 2, and I want to check for 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are going to get answer as what? You can see the answer as true. This rule is applicable for the integers within the range of 0 to 256. There is no problem. But if we are going to consider this 289 value, I will take L1 of here 3. L1 of 3 is L2 of, that is what, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let us check what happens. We are going to get answer as what? False. Reason is, here these two are numericals only, but these two are greater than 256. If there is a concept of numericals, reusability concept will be applicable only for the value 0 to 256. So the value is what? 289. If you are going to create an object which is 289, then what happens? First it is going to create 289, and in first it is what? L1 of 3. So for this, L1 of 3 is going to be pointed, and here 28 some address is going to be given for this one. Next what happens? 289 in second list also we are going to have. Then here there is no concept of reusability. First it will check whether the value is less than 256 or not. So is 289 is less than 256? No. So that it will create separate object, and it is going to have the name called as L2 of 5. So that these two are different objects, so that it will have what? Different addresses. Okay, in this way we are going to have the addresses concept. Okay, right. Now I want to show you for the strings also. That is, let us take for strings. What happens? For every string, if it is same object is going to be there. Okay, let us take only two values. Okay, now I'm going to take L2 equal to Here there is no restriction. If you take any type of string, only same type of string, we are going to have only one object for that. So here you can observe what L1 of 0 and Shiva is there in L2? Not there. So if I want to compare L1 of 1 and L2 of 0, we are going to get what? We are going to get L1 of 1 is L2 of 0. That means what I am asking, the first location element in L1, is it having the same address like L2 of 0 or not? I am asking that. Yes, it is having. 1 minute. Here what we are going to have? L1 of 1. Sorry, here I have to write what? L1 of 1. L1 of 1 is L2 of 0. Now you can observe the answer as true. Reason is here Rama is there, here Rama is there. It is a string. So if the same type of string is occurred, then means what? First we are going to create, whenever we are going to create this list, internally two objects are going to be created. One is with Shiva and another one is with Rama. Next, this one is pointed by whom? L1 of 0, and this one is what? L1 of 1. Next, what happens? I am going to create a second list with Rama and Prasad. So whenever it is going to create a Rama object, then it will check whether that string is already present or not. Yes, it is present. Why to create another string? So keep here only. That means the same object will be referred by L2 of 0 also. Next, what we are going to L2 of 1 here. Sorry. L2 of 1 is what? Prasad. So that is Prasad is available here? Not available. So that separate object will be created here and it will be pointed by L2 of 1. Okay. In this way, the concept of uh, is and is not will be there. So for individual object, if they are same, it is going to give you what? True. So already we know the concept of reusability. When we are seeing the basic data types, we have seen that concept. Okay. So this is about identity operators with lists. If the lists are same, okay, let us I will show you about L1 equal to L2 concept. Then I will check the addresses 12 comma 23 comma 56 I am going to take, and what I am doing, L1 equal to L2. What that means, what I am telling, initially I am going to create L1 which is having three elements 12, 23 and 56. Now what I am telling, L1 equal to L2, that means L2 is also same, it is pointing to the same memory location. How we have to find? Let us see L1 is L2 or not. Is L1 is L2 or not? Yes, both are pointing to the same one. So we are going to get answer as what? True only. So this concept is called as what? Aliasing. So in aliasing concept, both the lists are going to point to the same object. But if you are going to the concept of, let us take same list L1 and I want to clone this one. That means separate copy. I want to create a separate copy of this one by using we can do it with by slicing and what we can say copy function. Okay. Now I want to check what L1 is L2. Is these two are same? No. Separate copy will be created. Cloning. Yesterday we have seen the concept. In the same way, we can also say what L3 equal to L1 dot copy. Okay. Then let us see L1 is L3. No, these two are not same because separate copy will be created. Okay. In this way also we can apply is and is not for the lists for checking the identity of the lists. Right. Now this is about membership operators and identity operators that can be applied on lists. Now we are going to see one more method called as clear. Clear means I want to clear all the elements of the list. Here what happened? I am having the elements called as in the L1 I am having 12, 23 and 56. I don't want any elements in my L1. Then I can apply a method called as clear. That one is what? L1 dot clear. If I apply clear function, what it is going to do? It is going to clear all the elements of L1. So it is going to execute, it is not going to return anything. Now if I print L1, what will be there? Nothing is there in L1 because I have cleared that. Okay, clear means what? It is going to clear all the elements. That means, just I will take an example. So here I have taken what? 3 elements for L1. 3 elements for L1, 10, 20, 30. So if I am going to apply L1 dot clear, then all the elements will be cleared. Okay, but this L1 will point to the same location. Just I will show you that one. So first, once again, I will create one more list here. Okay, see here, I want to see the address of this one, ID of L1. So see, some address is printed here. Now I want to apply clear. Okay, clear is not going to return any type. That means it is going to return none type. Okay, completed. If I print L1, in that nothing is there. But if I want to see the ID of L1, see what happens? The address will be same. That means after removing the elements also, it is pointing to the same object only. The address of this object is what? For example, 40435400. Okay, so after removing also, it is pointing to the same location. Just clear means it is going to clear all the elements of that list. Yes, it is not going to return any type. So by default, it is going to return what? None. Next concept is none concept. If I am going to apply none to a list, then we have to see the difference between clear and none. That is L1 equal to, I will take some strings here, some okay. So I have taken some strings here. Now I want to make, just I will print L1 here. We are going to get some address, and I want to print ID of L1. ID of L1. So we are going to get some address here, no problem. Now I want to make L1 equal to none. L1 equal to none. That means now tell me, L1 is pointing to whom? It is not pointing to anyone. If I check for ID of L1, we are going to see, we are going to get which address? Some different address. So how it is going to be done? Let us see with an example. So whenever I am going to create a list here with some values, it may be any values. Okay, right. In this way, we have created a list. Now this L1 is pointing to this object. So the object is have a identity, that is address like 325111720, for example. Now I am going to apply what? L1 equal to none. That means I am saying what? L1 is not pointing to anything. That means it is not going to point to anything. It is pointing to what? None. It is pointing to what? None. That means this location, this object is going to be deleted by garbage collector. That means now whenever the object is not referred by anyone, automatically garbage collector is going to deallocate that memory or delete that memory or destroy that memory, because it is not useful now, because no one are using that object. If no one are using this object, what is the need of having that object in our memory? So that garbage collector will do what? It will clean that object. That means the memory will be freed, all these items are going to be removed. What about L1? L1 is going to point to none. So none is having by default some address, so it is going to print that address. So here we have to observe what? If I apply L1 dot clear, all the elements of that object will be cleared, but L1 is pointing to the same object. But if you are going to apply L1 equal to none, that means initially L1 is pointing to some object. I am making that L1 equal to none means we are going to, L1 is going to point to none. That means it is not going to point to any object. That means this object is not going to be pointed by L1. Is this object is pointed by any other reference? No. So that what happens? It is going to be removed by this memory, is going to be deallocated by the garbage collector. Okay. Let us see the example. One more example so that you will get a clarity on this one. So I will print L1. So we are not having anything, so that it is not going to print anything. So I will take L1 same like this. Once again, I'm going to take. So L1 is created. In L1, we are having some three objects, three string objects. Now I'm making L1, L2 equal to L1. Sorry. Okay, L2 equal to L1. That means what I am telling, both L1 and L2 are pointing to the same. Now I am making L1 equal to none. If I make L1 equal to none, what L2 is having? L2 is already pointing to the same object. So we are going to have the three different strings are there. But if I print L1, L1 is what? It is not pointing to anything because I made it as what? None. So we are not going to get anything. That is, here three objects I have taken. Okay. Next one is, okay, when. Here what I am doing, L1 is pointing to this one. I had made what? L2 equal to L1. That means L2 is also pointing to this one. Next step is what? L1 equal to none. That means I am making L1 as none. That means if L1 is pointing to none, how it can point to this object? So this reference is removed here. Okay. Will this object will be removed? No. Why this object is not removed here means here L2 is pointing to this object. But in this case, what happens? No one are referring this object, so that it is going to be removed by the garbage collector. What about this object here? Already L1 is pointing to none, so that here the reference is removed between L1 and this object, but this object is referred by one more reference, that is what? L2. So this object will not be removed by garbage collector. So what is the main purpose of this garbage collector means, whenever a unnecessary objects or unreferenced objects are there in our memory, this garbage collector is going to deallocate the memory for that object, so that the memory can be used for any other newly created objects. Okay, right. We will see in detail about this garbage collector when we are going for object oriented programming concepts. Okay, so this is about the concept of none and clear with lists. Now very important concept, that is list comprehensions. Very important, because this list comprehension is going to decrease the length of the code. Okay, so that we have to understand this concept clearly. Right, let us see how the syntax will be there for the list, for this list comprehension. So some list will be there, and here I have to write some expression. Just I am writing a what we can say general form for some item in list. Okay, if condition, don't worry, I will explain in detail with an examples. Now if I write some expression here, it is going to be if I'm going to write some expression here, that will be executed for every item in the list. For example, x into x is there. Okay, I'm going to perform what? X into x. Here the value is what? X. And the list is what? I am going to take some list x. I am going to take x equal to 2, 3, 4. I am going to take. Now what happens here in this list? What I am having? The list name is what? Okay, already here I have taken x, so that let us take it as a y. List name is what? Y. If some condition I am going to write, if I want some, if I need this condition, I will write. Otherwise, I don't. If there is no requirement, I will not write this if condition. Now let us see without writing this if condition. I will tell you one small example. So in x, what we are having? 2, 3, 4 we are having. So for for y, in y what we are having? 2, 3, 4. So item in list, that is nothing but x in y. X in y means what? For every element in y, that will be stored in x. That is, what is the x value of first iteration? 2. So for every iteration, this will be performed. So it will be performed as what? 2 into 2, and it will be stored here 4. Next, in next loop what happens? 3 is there, so x value will be 3. For this, 3 into 3 will be performed, and here what happens? 9 will be stored. And next loop 4 is there. In y we are having what? 4. So that will be stored in X, and this will be performed. That is what? X into X, which is nothing but 4 into 4. We are going to get answer as what? 16. And all these are going to be stored in a list. So in one single line, as a single expression, I am going to evaluate the squares of the given numbers. Okay. So if we go to the example, you will get a clarity on this one. Let us take one example here. Just I am going to take a list of elements, or directly I will take a range S equal to how it looks like here. Some expression should be there here. So some expression is, for example, I am going to take expression as X into X only. When this X into X has to be done for every I, okay, sorry, for every X in range of 5, or I will take 1 comma 11. This indicates what? 1 to 10 values it is going to consider. For every value from 1 to 10, what should be performed? For every value, multiplication, that means square has to be performed. So if I enter this one, if I press enter here, so let us see what happens. So something is happened internally. I don't know what happens. Just I will print S here, so you can observe clearly what happens. So first one, in this range what we are having, 1 to 10 values. So in first iteration what happens? 1 is going to be placed in X here. So then for that it is going to execute 1 into 1, so that it is stored as 1. In next case what happens? In second iteration, 2 value is going to stored in X. For that it is going to execute 2 into 2, 4. Next iteration, 3 is going to be stored in X. For this, 3 into 3 is going to be performed, and so on. For all 10 elements, it is going to perform as what? It is going to perform square. For example, if I want to multiply, for the same example I will take, if I don't want to do the concept of squaring, I want to multiply every number with X. So just I have to change the expression. That is what we are going to get. Now check in S. What happens? It is going to have 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on. That means range of 1 to 10 will be taken. First value in X will be what? 1. So 2 into 1, 2. Next what happens? 2 will be there. X value is what? 2. 2 into 2, 4. That means what? Here we can consider it as a multiples of 2, or we can consider it as a 2 table. The values of 2 table it is. Okay, right. Now I will show you one more example with if condition. That means when this here there is no condition, so that for every value in X this will be executed. Once again listen, here there is no if condition, so for every value in X this will be executed. So how many values are there for this X? 1 to 10 will be taken. So for all the values, 2 into X has been performed here. But if I am going to write some condition, then what is going to be happen? Let us see here. So same thing I am going to take, but the concept is I don't want to perform what I can say, only I want to perform squares of even numbers. For example, I want to perform only squares of even numbers. What is meant by square? We can take X into X, or I can take directly X power. Already we are having some exponential operator. In this way I can write. This is nothing but what? It is also same as like X into X, but I can take in this way also. When this X square has to be done, when I want to do the expression for what? For only odd numbers, sorry, for only even numbers. How we can say it as an even number? If condition is what? X modulo 2. If it is equal to 0, then only the expression has to be executed. In this way we have to write. Now let us see what happens here. If I press enter, let us see this what is there. See what happens. All the elements here. Okay, just I will explain this concept. Okay, okay, okay. Now see here what happens. I will explain now. Here if you see this one, First, what happens if there is no condition, for every value in this range, it will execute the same operation. But if I am going to write some condition here, then see, let us see what happens. First, for x in range of 1 comma 10, first value in x is what? X value first will be 1. Okay, then it will go to this condition 1 modulo 2, is it equal to 0? No. So for this expression, for this value, one value, this is false, so that it will not be executed. Next loop, the second value is what? In this, what we are going to have? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 10 values are there. That means it will execute, the loop is going to be executed for 10 values. Next one, second, what happens? X value will be 2. Second, what happens? X value will be 2. Now it will check this condition 2 modulo 2, is it equal to 0? Yes, it is equal to 0. That means the condition is satisfied here. If the condition is satisfied, then only this will be this expression will be executed. So that this expression is going to be executed and the value is going to be stored in a list that is called as S, that is 4. Next loop, what? X equal to 3. Okay, this is completed, this is completed. Now x equal to 3. So is 3 modulo 2, is it equal to 0? No, it is 3 modulo 2 is nothing but what? 3 will be divided with 2. 2 ones are 2, and we are going to get what? Answer as 1. Is it 0? No, it is not 0. So that the condition is failed. Next iteration, what happens? X equal to 4. Next, 4 means what? 4 modulo 2. That means this 2 2s are 4. We are going to get what? 0. So it is correct. Then we are going to execute this one. That means what? 4 square. Then it is going to have what? 16. In the same way, for 6, 36. For 8, 64. In the same way, for 10, 100 is going to be executed and the values are going to be stored in yes. Okay. In this way, list comprehension is going to be executed. Now, if I want to get only odd number, that means what? Odd number squares has to be performed. Just I will place not equal to 0. If I print s, what you can see? Only the squares of the odd numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, so this is about list comprehension. So let us see some more examples for this list comprehension so that you can understand more about this list comprehension. So till now I have used what? I have used only numericals. Now I want to take integer, sorry, I want to take a strings. Just I will take some names here so that I will execute the program by using these names. So just I will take some star names, actor names. Okay, top actor names I am going to take. Okay, now see here the concept is I want to print only the first element of the, let us consider I want to print only the first element from each and every string. Okay, that means what I have to write here? Just I will write a list comprehension. In that, what I have to take? I want to take every string first element, that is what? N of 0. I want to take only n of 0 for what? For all the elements in list. That is what? For n in names. So for every element in names, that is going to be stored in n. From n, it is going to take what? Only n of 0. Then let us see what happens. Okay, see here. I have not stored it. I have not stored it any variable. Directly I'm going to print. So we got what? B, next V, next C, and next N. So to print the first characters of the name, we can do this type of operation. Now, sir, I want the names where it is having more than 5 characters. That means what? I want to print the names where the number of characters is greater than 3, for example. Not 3 means all are going to be printed. Let us take 5. Okay, so what I have to do? I have to write a for condition, sorry, what can I say? If condition here. In if condition, what I have to do? Just I have to place if, what is my condition? Length of the n should be, length of the n should be greater than 5. Okay, that is what here we can consider length of n should be greater than 5. Then only we are going to get that output. If I consider this example, what happens? So here more than 5 characters are there. Here also we are having more than 5 characters. Here it is equal to 5, so it is not printed. It will not be printed. So see here what happens. Only two strings has been printed. Those are which is having more than 5 characters in the string. Not only this one, if you want to write anything, we can write by using this list comprehension. Okay, for example, I will take two lists. I want to find the common elements in the two lists. Okay, so this type of sample examples are very useful if you are going to do any programming. So just I will take some elements 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. For example, I'm going to take one list and I'm going to take second list also, where it contains some different elements. I want to take only some elements which are going to be matched. So 70 and 30 and 100. If you see this example, what are the same elements that are present in L1 and L2? Only that is 30 is there. Only 30 is there. So now I want to find the common element. So what I have to do? Just I will write, if I want to write L3 or if you don't want to write, no problem. What should be the condition? List comprehension I have to take. I want to print one element. Let us take it as a X. For every element in where? L1, L1, if X in L2. You have to understand clearly this one. Once again I will explain here what happens here. For every element in L1, that means what? 10 will be taken first round. If 10 in L2, then it will be executed. Okay, is 10 is there in L2? Not there, so we will not print X. Next what happens? X in L1, second value 20. If 20 in L2, is 20 is in L2? Not there, so this will not be executed. Next what happens? Next case, third one is what? 30. 30 means what? 30 X is what? 30. If 30 in L2, is 30 is in L2? Yes, it is there. So that this X is going to be considered. In the same way, all values will be verified, and if same values are present in second list, it is going to be printed that value. So here how many values are there? Only one value is there. Sorry, two values I think. Okay, 50 is also there. Sorry. So two values are there. So those two values are going to be printed. Okay, right. This is one more example. Next, let us take some names here. I want to take these names here and I want to print all the names in capital letters. What is that? I want to print all the names in capital letters. What is the, how I have to do? Just I will write, just I will print X here, or okay, just I will place X here for X in, where are they in names? What I have to do? I have to do X dot upper. Just I have to do what? X dot upper. Okay, right. What happens here? For every element in names, that will be stored in X, and I am going to make it as what? X dot upper. Here I am not going to do what? I am not going to check any condition. So directly I am going to get what? All in capital letters. Okay, right. Now this is about how to convert all the list of elements into uppercase. So whatever the condition you want to write, if you are having any condition, that has to be written after this for loop. If there is no condition, no need of writing any condition. If you are not going to write any condition, then what happens? Every time, that means the expression is going to be executed for every value of that for loop. Okay, right. Now let us take, I want to find number of vowels in the given string, for example. Okay, let us see this, that one. So first I have to tell what? Vowels. What are vowels? Tell me. Vowels are A, E, I, O, U. It may be in uppercase or it may be in lowercase. So just I will take only lowercase. For example, A, E, I, O, U. Okay, these are the vowels. Okay, okay. Anyway, I will take capital letters also. Capital A, capital E, next one capital I, next capital O and capital U. So these are the vowels I am going to store. Now what I want to see, I want to find the vowels in the string what I am going to pass. That is, for example, I am going to take string here. So let us take s equal to just I will take what my name is. Okay, Sivaram Prasad. For example, I am going to take this is my name. So here, just what is my task? I want to check number of vowels that is present in my string. What is the string here? The string is S. Okay. So what I have to do? See here. For just I want to store. I want to do what? I have to create one empty list here, or directly I can take. Okay. Just I will take list comprehension here. X I am going to take for X in. Here individual character has to be taken. Okay. So just I will take what for X in, or just I will take for letter I will take, so that we will get a clarity. Letter, letter, letter. Here also I will take letter, where I am going to search in S for every letter in S. Okay. Condition is if what I have to check, I want to check whether that letter is present in vowel or not. Letter in vowel. Okay, vowel or vowels. Okay, vowels. Then what I have to do? I have to store that inside one more list. So okay, just I will take what 1 minute. Okay, just I will print those things, no problem. So see what happens. All the how many are there here? How many what we can say vowels are there? Let us see here. So first one A is there. Next one E is there. Next one I is there. Next one here what happens? Two I's are printed. Okay, I is there. I is there. Next what? A is there. Next A. Next A. After that A once again. Next one A. Next one O. And next one is U. So in this way also we can write the program. That means if you want to find here in this example what we have seen, if you want to find vowels that are inside any string, I can write in this way. If you want to write the same program by using our for loops, it will take nearly 5 to 6 lines. Okay, right. This is about what we can say list comprehension. Okay, so with this I'm going to end the concept of list. So let us summarize what we have seen in the list concept. Okay, so first we have seen what is meant by a list and what are the properties of the list. Let us write once about this list. So first what we have seen, list and its properties we have seen. That means what are the properties of a list? List is for why we are going to use the list. If you want to group the objects as a single entity, then I am going to use the concept of list. Here insertion order is preserved. Okay, insertion order is there here. Next one is what? Duplicates are allowed, and we can store what? Different type of values, not only same. That is what? Heterogeneous objects are allowed. And what? We can increase the size or decrease the size of a list, increase or decrease. Okay, and we can say what? List is mutable. That means what? The content of list can be changed. The content of list can be changed. Next one is what? If duplicates are there, how we can access, how we can identify different values, duplicate values by using the index. So these are the list properties. So after that we have seen some of the functions on this one. So basic, if you want to convert anything, so s equal to I am having Shiva. So if I want to convert this Shiva into list, so what I have to do, I am going to use a method called as list method. So what happens? List of s means what? Whatever the content that is present in this s, it is going to be converted into individual s, I, next one is v, and next one is a. In this way it is going to be converted. So next we have seen some of the important methods on this list. Okay, those are, first one is what? Append method. First one is append method. Next one is, we have seen what? Insert method. Okay, Next one is we have seen length method. Next one is we have seen count method. Index we have seen. After that we have seen after okay insertion is completed. Next let us see about deletion also. Okay, for deletion we are having what? Okay, for addition how many day? 1 and 2. Okay, one more thing is that is what? Extend is there. Okay, next one for removing I am having remove, and second one is pop function. Okay, right, already we know what is the difference between remove and pop also, and we have seen about reverse and reversed function. This is what one is method and one is function. And also we have seen what sort method and sorted function. Okay, so these are the different methods we have seen for our list. Clear also we have seen. Okay, and we have seen what finally list comprehension. List comprehension. Okay, and what we have seen aliasing concept we have seen, cloning of list we have seen, and how to access the element of a list by using index, by using what index and slice operator. Okay, yes, these are the different type of concepts we have applied on our list. I think so. Some membership operators. Next one is identity operators, some plus operator, concatenation operator, and this is what repetition operator also we have seen. Okay, so this is about list. We have seen in detail about the list. So you can practice some more programs on this list so that you will get a clarity on this list. So these are the important methods I have explained in the list, but we will have many other methods we are going to have. But first we have to understand what the properties of list should be understood, and how these membership operators and identity operators and indexing, slicing, cloning, aliasing, these concepts should be understood. So we have seen important concepts in the list. So in next session, we are going to see about tuple in detail. Okay, thank you.